here we are. I hope you had a beautiful day. So before I get into the practicing my repertoire and then performing something for you, I wanted to share you a very important technical detail on the classical guitar that I personally do not believe can be overlooked if you want to take your playing to the next level. But this one thing I'm getting ready to show you, I've never had a student who has just done this automatically. It's always something that has had to be learned, at least from my experience. When I first started classical guitar, I was not doing this either, and I had to learn this as well. So let me bring you a little closer and show you here exactly what I'm talking about. So what I want to show you here is having to do with the left hand and the production of a legato sound. So I don't want you to confuse legato with a slur or a hammer on a pull-off. So the term legato, it just means the notes are connected together. It means there's no dead space, there's no rest. You know, going from one note to the next, there's no silence. The note might die down from the initial point when you pluck it, but there's no silence. The notes are completely connected. Or of course, the exact opposite would be staccato. Lots of silence in between the notes. So what happens here when you go from one note to the next on the same string, if you lift up the previous finger at all before going to the note, even if it's pretty much at the same time where you can barely hear it, there's still some kind of subconscious silence there that breaks the legato. So when I first started playing guitar, especially when I was descending scales, I would do one finger and then put the other one down and just switch. And you can still get it to sound pretty legato, but there's a lot more work and you have to be perfect in your sound. But if you prepare all your fingers at the same time and just lift off, they're already down. So there's no chance that there's going to be any silence in between those notes. And I think it's important to do this anytime you're doing two notes on the same string when you're descending. I think it's more important to do it when you're descending, even if you're doing something like this, like an F to an E. Every time I do that, every time I just have two notes on the same string, I'm putting them both down at the same time. There's just zero chance that there's going to be any silence between those notes when I do that. And it might sound the same, but I can hear the difference and I can feel the difference in how my guitar is vibrating. And that's just one of the little details that I use to try and make my sound and my phrasing more legato and just make the sound of my guitar resonate more so it fills up a room better. But anyway, I'm going to go practice some of my repertoire and then figure out something to run through for you. So here I go. I got a pretty good practice session in tonight. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run through the Sarabande from the Third Cello Suite. So here it is, the Sarabande from the Third Cello Suite, BWV 1009 by Johann Sebastian Bach. right, there's the Sarabande. So let's go to the couch and talk about my performance that I just gave of it. All right, so I just watched the performance that I gave back of the Sarabande, and I just love this piece. This piece is so beautiful. Fun fact about the Sarabande is that it actually originated in Central America, and it used to be faster. It used to be a very fast and kind of a sexual dance, and then it came over to Spain, and then the Spanish Inquisition actually banned it in the 16th century. But there are plenty of composers that adopted that style of movement anyway and added it into their works, especially in the Baroque era. But as I tried to develop somewhat of an original interpretation, that's one of the things I'm thinking about, as well as the second beat of the Sarabande is typically the strong beat. Like you have the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And I know a lot of people play this movement very slowly, but I want to try and honor maybe the Central American origin in somewhat of a way, and play it in a way that maybe some people could dance to, but not too fast. So you hear the second beat here. 2, 1, 2. So we'll see how my interpretation of this piece develops as I practice and educate myself more on its origins. And also too, I'd like to watch some more people dancing of the Sarabande and see if I can get some inspiration from that. But that's where I'm at with it. We'll see how it develops. So I really appreciate you watching. I hope you have a good evening. Peace.